Hello, Star Citizens. This is Captain Zed with Zedexis Gaming. And today we're going to take a review of the currently flyable RSI Aurora MR. Now, get some things out of the way. First of all, these are my opinions, and they're just my opinions. And yours are probably going to be different. And that's a good thing. Secondly, I always try to take a look and see, when I review ships, do I have a particular bias towards the ship? Because there are some ships I really like, some ships I really don't. And this ship for me is one of those in the middle. I could, it's got some good qualities and bad qualities, but it's not a ship that I neither, I'm completely in love with or hate. So. All right, so what is the RSI Aurora MR? Well, this is one of two starter ships that are the cheapest starter ships in the game, including, the game package. So generally, this is a ship that a lot of players are going to see when they first try Star Citizen, is that you're going to end up either with this or the Mustang Alpha. So the other thing that this ship does see a lot of time in the verse is the Aurora MR is the loaner ship for like a billion ships. Loaner ships are given out to ships where either there's been a concept sale, but the ship is not in the game yet, so they give you something comparable to play with. Or loaner ships are also given out for ships that are in the game, but are not available for play in Arena Commander. So they give you a comparable ship so that you can have something to play in Arena Commander, because you can only, unless you're using the Arena Commander like rental system, you can only use in Arena Commander what you own in game. So this ship does see a lot of use. The Aurora series is probably maybe a little bit different than some of the other ship series. The Aurora series has 5 ships in it. It has, was it the MR? It's the ES, the MR, the LX, the LN, and the CL. And unlike other series, ships in the Aurora series are not very different from each other. Basically, these ships are almost the same ship with a different paint job. Some of the ships have got like maybe a couple more missiles. One ship in the series has got more cargo room. But you're just kind of paying for, a little bit different paint jobs in some of the cases. The interior has got like maybe a little bit nicer quality to it, but the Aurora is a very old series in the sense of, it was one of the first ones to come out, and probably they tried some things with different series, and I think that was one of the things that other series of ships have got a big differentiation, but the Auroras don't. So the MR is actually not the cheapest Aurora, but it is the one that comes with the game package. So this is, if you're going to start Star Citizen, this is where you're going to start. So looking at, first of all, the outside of the ship, you will notice there are no interactables as far as like components. So that's something that this ship is obviously going to need a gold pass. And then you have the cargo rails in the exterior here. And we get in here. So you can tractor beam in a box, and the boxes will snap into these cargo rails. And there is room for 3 SCUs. So not enough to really do cargo trading or do any of the hauling missions, but anywhere where you can use a 1 SCU or 2 SCU box, this ship does have its uses. As far as the interior goes, first of all, she's got a door on each side. She's got a hatch door here and a hatch door here. Open the door, the ladder comes down. One thing you will notice that I would say is a very big negative: these stairs work worth garbage. They're very narrow, and if you see me, I'm going to walk up to them. And so that time it worked, but a lot of times you walk up to them and it's like you're hitting a wall. They don't function correctly, and what you end up having to do is kind of like bunny hop. So they really need to take a look at those stairs. If you look at the door choices, we go back and close this here. You'll notice there's no other selection for the door. So there is right now no storage in the, like no external storage in the ship. The only other interior thing this ship has is a bed. It does have a bed. It's actually, you can see where there's supposed to be a storage. And you can lie down in the bed and you can log out, assuming you're in a location that doesn't cause a problem when you do that. But that's it for the interior. You don't have storage, you don't have gun racks, you don't have a bathroom. All you've got is a bed and a pilot seat. So now stepping into the pilot seat, you've got 4 MFDs, and they're pretty nice MFDs. The vision is pretty good from a, like what you can see around you, but obviously you've got these struts here, and the struts are kind of an RSI thing for their earlier design ships. You see the struts very prominently on this line and on the Constellation line. And so that can bother people. Some people get in this cockpit and it drives them nuts. Some people get in this cockpit and they're perfectly happy with it. So, I always say, test these things out, Never buy a ship unless you've came in and tested it, during like free flies and stuff like that. So, okay. So now, what can the Aurora do? I like to try to, look at a ship and go, imagine this ship was either the only ship in your fleet or one of just a few ships in your fleet. What all can you use this ship for? First of all, combat. We'll test this ship in combat. She's actually a pretty good little combat ship. We'll take a brief look at what I call, scavenging, which is, you shoot down another ship, and can you take their components? Can you take their guns? If they have cargo, can you take their cargo? What can you do with it? This ship only has 3 SCUs of storage, so you're not going to get, you're not going to really be able to do, trading or any kind of hauling mission. So we won't look at that. We will take a look at doing bunker missions, at least friendly bunker missions, which actually this ship is very good at. She really can't do enemy bunker missions, and that's because there's not enough room in here for a vehicle. Now, can you technically put a pulse in here? Yeah. Is it going to blow the ship up? Probably. So that's something I don't recommend. I don't recommend stuffing, can it fit when it explodes the ship half the time. And then I think the final thing we'll take a brief look at is box delivery missions, which you actually can do in this ship pretty well. All right. So with that said, let's get to it. First on the list is going to be combat missions. All right, Star Citizens, welcome to the combat portion of the Aurora MR review. So, combat, what does this ship have? She's got 4 size 1 gun emplacements. I'm currently rocking attritions, but whatever patch you're in, you just you throw whatever you like on the ship. She has 2 size 1 missiles, 2 size 1 shields, 1 power plant, 2 coolers, quantum drive. She has 5,740 hit points. Normal SCM speed is 225. Boosted is 450, which makes her relatively fast. Her top nav speed is 1200. And her maneuverability is 46, 46, 140, which actually puts this ship on par with a medium fighter. So you can see stats-wise, this actually is not a bad little fighter. 4 size 1 guns are not enough to, take down larger ships, but if you're doing BLRTs, LRTs, the ship's perfectly viable, especially in a good pilot's hands. I like to say I really love piloting in Star Citizen. Reminds me of my days of playing Wing Commander and Privateer. I'm just not as good at it as other people are. So we're doing a VLRT right now. Let's see. Can't tell if my radar zoomed out or not. That is our contact, or that is our target. What is he in? I can't tell. Alright, we're high enough above the surface, shouldn't be a problem. As far as flying into the surface, which is something that looks like a vulture. This could be a challenge. That is a vulture. I say this could be a challenge, really not because he poses a huge threat to me other than flying into me, which, the AI loves to do. It's going to fire its biggest missile, the ship. But even with the gunnery this ship has, taking down a vulture is... is something you want more firepower for. But not a problem. All right. So as you can see, this ship is, nimble enough. we were able to maneuver circles around the Vulture. But, you know, if I've fought, you know, M50s and, you know, Mustangs and all kinds of other, you know, Arrows and all kinds of other ridiculously maneuverable ships, and this ship can keep up with it. And the 4S ones are good enough to shoot things down. So, all in all, I would say very, very solid combat ship. Especially, remember, this is a starter ship. This is one of the cheapest ships in the game, and she's still capable. Hello, welcome to the scavenging part of the Aurora MR test. We are on Walla. We've just downed a Pisces doing a low-level bounty mission, and we're taking its guns. And this is one of the things I like to see is, you know, what can ships do? What are all the different possibilities? And as you can see, all we can take off the Pisces is its guns, because it doesn't have any other components right now. But as you can see with the Aurora, the main issue with this ship is she does not have a metric ton of interior space. So it makes things like looting ship components possible, but difficult. So we got in there 2 Bulldogs, which is all that I could get off the Pisces, and that's probably about all we're going to get in there. Let's see if I can even get in the ship at this point. And as I said, this ramp is really finicky. And there we go. Okay, the 2 guns are in here. They look like, at least for now, they're happy. They haven't exploded the ship. Let me try to close this door. So let me see if I can move my body and kind of reposition these things a little bit. The one up on top looks like it wants to bounce. Okay, that's a little more on the ground. So there you go. Can the Aurora scavenge? Yes. Is it going to be able to take that much? No. And that's simply because of the extremely limited amount of interior space. As of right now, maybe this is something in the future, though, to think about. You can put small, I think it's up to size 2, guns, and I'm not sure which. I know size 1 ship components you can put into the storage boxes, but you can't do it out in the open. You have to do it from inventory to inventory. So if the storage box is in your inventory in your hangar, and your Bulldog is in your inventory in your hangar, you can grab the gun and put it in your storage box. But if you're sitting outside, like normally if you're looting, let's say, armor, you would activate your storage box, and then kind of in your periphery you would pick up the armor piece and move it into the box. You can't do that with ship components. They may change that in the future. They also may change how boxes work in the future so that you can. But as of right now, with the Aurora MR, this is as good as you get. So, part 2, the Aurora MR and salvaging. I was doing some combat testing with the ship, and I did manage to shoot down a hull A. And hadn't planned on doing that. But, you know, you take your opportunities where you can get them. So, kind of the one thing that's interesting is now with the outdoor cargo rails and the fact that they recently made a change. There was a rail back here that they removed, and now this thing is ridiculously easy to load and unload when you're out in the verse. And now I didn't get like anything special here. I got some medical supplies and some titanium, but as you can see, it taking this box, just pushing it in, and letting it snap is really easy. So actually, that's one thing that this ship does have going for it, is that you know, we didn't make a lot of extra money, but you know, you take what you can get, and of course, there's every possibility you shoot a ship down, and it's got some high-priced drugs or something. So you can use the Aurora to do at least a little bit of salvaging. All right, on to the next part of the review. Hello, and welcome to the bunker portion of the Aurora MR review. So, can the Aurora do friendly bunkers? And I believe the quick answer to that is absolutely, and it does it very well. First of all, she's small. You can park this thing right in front of the front door once you've taken out the sentries, of course. The other thing is that she gives you some good actual looting options, because first of all, one SCU box, very easy to pull off the ship, take with you, come back, and boom, you go. She does have enough interior space that you can get a body or two in here as well. So if you want to loot that way, you've got options. It would be nice if the ship had, you know, some interior storage, and or maybe, you know, a gun rack or two, but it's an inexpensive starter ship. You get what you get. Alrighty, on to the next part of the review. Welcome to the box delivery mission portion of the Aurora MR review. Now, currently in Star Citizen Live, box delivery missions are disabled. They are being rewritten as part of the process of rewriting a lot of the missions in the game right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to simulate this, because box missions become, you know, kind of an important thing for your new players, your players that are, you know, just starting out. And this, you know, this is one of the ships that you're going to be looking at. So we got some 1/8 SCU boxes here, which are the same size as the boxes in the box delivery mission. So the first thing you're going to notice with the Aurora is the ramp leading in. It's very narrow and very glitchy. It does, if you notice, I walked up to it and now it's like it's not registering. Okay, so we'll take a little bunny jump, and there we go. Got in just perfectly fine. So if we come in, we drop the box on the ground, and then it the physics almost killed us. So you can quickly see the issue with the Aurora is that does not have a lot of room in her. Dropping the box can cause lots of problems. So you can come in, you can try placing the box, but as you notice, it's currently not selecting the box in my hand. The F is selecting the box on the ground. So let's go ahead and leave the ship. So normally what you want is, if you're looking at the box and you hit F, the box lights up, and then you can get the menu to say place it. This kind of leaves you stuck with the Aurora, that you're pretty much left to the best way to handle this is with tractor beams. and then you can toss them in. And like I said, you still have the issue of we don't have a lot of room in here. So you kind of want to get these to sit on the ground, kind of like that. That should be stable enough. And that gives us enough room to get around side of it. And that shouldn't, as long as they're like flat on the ground, you shouldn't, get a chain reaction of them bouncing off of each other and exploding the ship or anything. So, can the Aurora be used for box delivery missions? Yes. But I would probably recommend not more than 3. And like I said, as you saw with the best way to do this is with a tractor beam, which can cause problems if you're in an area where you can't use tractor beams. But overall, the Aurora does work. And at a minimum, what you can do is just take missions that you've only, take the low-level missions, where you're just delivering one box, or deliver one box at a time. If you've got, 2 deliveries, one from one location to another location, just take one box at a time. You can do it that way. All right, on to the next portion of the review. All right. The RSI Aurora MR, my final thoughts. I give this ship a 3.5 out of 5. I think what you're getting with this ship is an extreme amount of value. It's the least expensive ship in the game to buy a pledge with. The pledge package is $45. The ship price alone is $30, and there's only one other ship in the game, which is the Aurora ES, which is cheaper than it. And we've taken a look. This ship can do a lot. It can do combat perfectly fine, do a little bit of scavenging. Doesn't have a lot of interior space, but it does have a little bit. Only carries 3 SCU, so really can't do cargo like in the hauling or trading, but can carry 1 and 2 SCU boxes so that you can use those for various things. She can do the delivery box missions. You can put the little 1/8 SCU boxes behind the pilot seat without a problem, and she can definitely do friendly bunkers. You can put a 1 SCU box on her and take it off pretty easily and take it downstairs and loot with it that way. Or you can actually get, 1 or 2 bodies in behind the pilot seat, really without too much of a problem. And probably last, this ship is one of the lowest respawn timing ships. So in my fleet, she pretty much operates as a taxi. And I keep her for those purposes, because you're playing with friends, and you stop playing for the day, on a planet that's not your home planet, and you come in the next day and you're like, okay, I want to go back to my home planet and pick up a ship and do some stuff, and you got to claim a ship. So this is one of the quickest ships in the game to claim, no matter where you are, and will definitely get you where you need to go. In order to continue your adventure in the verse. Like I said, she can be bought, she can be pledged for, she can be purchased in-game for $680,000, which is pretty cheap for a ship. She can also be rented. So there are lots of opportunities to try this ship for yourself. She does have some downsides. The stairs don't exactly work that well. She does have very limited interior space. She does not have, at this time, kind of an external inventory, either inside the ship or kind of clicking on the like a fighter would, clicking on the door. And she doesn't have any gun racks. So I would say those are kind of major downsides. But for your money, I think this is a good introduction to Star Citizen. Lets you understand, how to fly, get you into the, into the different cycles, and, helps you learn the game. So, with all that being said, please do all the things. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. If there's anything in specific you would like to see videos on or see me review, please let me know, and I will get to it as soon as possible. And otherwise, have a great day in the verse.